Next, the Israelites rebel against God. Now remember last session when I taught about God coming to the Israelites because they complained to him, cried out to him for being slaves in Egypt, and he answered their cries to free them. He used Moses to do it. Now, the way that worked was God had Moses go to Pharaoh and repeatedly say, "Let my people go." And each time Pharaoh said no, God would send a plague on the Egyptians. And it got to a point where they just couldn't take it more, and they let the Israelites go. Now, here's the thing. Each time God sent a plague on the Egyptians, Pharaoh would go to Moses and say, Moses, please ask your God to stop this plague. We're sorry. If he stops the plague, we will let the Israelites go because we can't bear this plague anymore. So Moses would go to God, and God would stop the plague. But each time God stopped the plague, it said Pharaoh would then harden his heart and change his mind and not let them go. It also says in the Bible that God was the one that caused Pharaoh to harden his heart every time. Now, why would God do that? If God wanted the Israelites freed as slaves, and he did, and if Pharaoh was willing to let them go, and he was, why would God harden his heart then so that Pharaoh would keep saying no? I'm not exactly sure, but I have a good guess, and I think my guess is right. It's because every time Pharaoh said no, that caused God to send another plague on the Egyptians. Why is that important? So the Israelites could see this. Okay, so this allowed it so that the Israelites saw God send 10 plagues on the Egyptians, none on the Israelites. Those are miracles. This caused it so that the Israelites saw God part the Red Sea so that they can get across. And then God caused the Red Sea to crash down on the pursuing Egyptian army. That's 11 major miracles they saw. Right after that, then God provided for them with miracles. When they were wandering around with no place to go yet, God rained manna down from heaven, a miracle to feed them. They asked for meat. God made it so every night quail would fly in and land, and they would cook them and eat them. Miracle 13. Then, whenever they were thirsty, God had Moses take a stick and hit a rock with a stick, and God would cause water to gush out. Miracle 14. Okay, so what's the point? The Israelites, first of all, saw God do 11 miracles to free them, which they asked him to do. They cried out to him. Then they saw him do 3 miracles every day to provide for them. Why is that so important? You're going to see now how quickly the Israelites turn against God, abandon God, walk away from God to follow a false god that they made with their own hands. So Moses was up on Mount Sinai for 40 days, talking with God, and this is when God was giving him the 10 commandments and the law. During this 40-day period, now the Israelites saw all these miracles. It only took 40 days. During this 40-day period, when Moses was off with God on top of the mountain, the people went to Moses' brother, Aaron, and said, "Why is Moses taking so long? Maybe something happened to him. He might not come back. We want you, Aaron, to make us new gods that we can follow." Wow. How quickly they turn away. And Moses' brother, Aaron, agreed to make them new gods to follow. Nice brother. Aaron told the Israelites to give him any gold that they had, which they did. Aaron melted the gold down and made a gold statue of a calf. The people started to worship the golden calf as a god and said, "It was the golden calf that saved the Israelites from the Egyptians and brought them out of Egypt." Meanwhile, God told Moses on Mount Sinai what the Israelites were doing. God asked Moses if he wanted. He said, "Moses, they're down here. They just made a golden calf to worship, and they said this is golden calf that's their God, and it's the golden calf that saved them from the Egyptians and has been providing for them." Then God said to Moses, "Do you want me to wipe them out like I did with the people during Noah's time and start over with your offspring like I did with Noah's offspring? Because these people are so bad. I did all this and they already abandoned me to follow this false god they made." Moses said, "No, God, please don't do that. Please don't kill them." And God listened to Moses because God and Moses were friends. Moses came down from the mountain, from God giving the 10 commandments, and he was furious with the Israelites for what they did. He, out of anger, he smashed the 2 stone tablets with the 10 commandments on them, and he melted the golden calf that the people made in rebellion against God and against Moses. Moses asked the crowd who was on the side of God, and all the sons of the tribe of Levi stepped forward, signifying they were on the side of God. Moses had them kill 3,000 people who rejected God and instead chose to make a golden calf as their God to follow. And the tribe of Levi did this. They went out and they killed everybody that rebelled against God. This act of loyalty to God by the tribe of Levi helped make it so that God later chose members of only the tribe of Levi to be the priests for the nation of Israel. God also sent a plague against the people who rejected God and followed a golden calf that they made with their own hands as a new false god. That's in Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 to 35. So why is it important for us to know? Again, it's important that we read the Bible and know what it says. Why is this important? Well, we learn about how to lead our lives by what happens to the people in the Bible. And we learn, we're no better than the Israelites. We're fallen, sinful people ourselves. That's why we needed Jesus as a Savior. We need to know how easy it is, if we're not careful, to fall away from God and just start following something else as a God, or just abandon God and not follow anything. But, look how easy it happened to these Israelites. So we need to be careful. We ourselves need to be careful that this doesn't happen to us. Now, while the Israelites are out in the wilderness, again, God took them